Hello and welcome to Talk Truth. My name is Corey Huntsberger. I've got my father, Alan Huntsberger, in the studio. We want to welcome you and say thanks for tuning in. And by the way, Alan, I just got to say it. 4 years, celebrating 4 years on the television right now, you and me. Can you believe that? Has time not just flown by?
It has. I mean, first of all, to think that you and I have worked together 4 years.
See, if you don't believe in God, people, I'm telling you, there is a God.
There is a God. There you go.
And he loves you. And you know what?
Amen.
He's also done this. The earth and everything in it, the world and its inhabitants belong to the Lord. For he laid its foundation on the seas and established it on the rivers, Psalm 24, 1 and 2. We start off with that verse every program because it's our foundation. All right? The earth and everything in it, the world and its inhabitants belong to someone, not the World Economic Forum, not the Supreme Court, not the WHO, but the Lord. And why is that? Because he's the one who created all these beautiful trees and mountains that you see behind Alan and I. He's the creator. That's our foundation, right, Dad?
Yeah, and I've been doing a comparison with Deuteronomy chapter 10 because I ran into Deuteronomy and it speaks a lot about the Lord. And one of the verses in verse 16, it says, circumcise your heart and don't be stiff-necked any longer, which says God is not after outward rituals. He's after the heart. To circumcise the heart means to cut away stubbornness, pride, and sin, and to yield fully to him. And Jesus confirmed this truth when he said, I tell you the truth, unless someone is born again, he cannot see the kingdom of heaven, John 3:3. So a new heart, a new spirit, a new birth, that is what God requires. No stiff-necked resisting his ways, but softened heart, surrendered, and made new by his spirit. So today, remember, the God who owns heaven and earth calls you to a new heart. So what does that mean? Well, lay down stubbornness. I mean, not that I know anything about stubbornness. Receive his spirit and walk as one born again.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited about our guest. We haven't had her for a while, but she's back. Catherine Christensen, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah. Long time no see, Catherine.
Yeah,
I
up
think,
to all kinds of things.
yeah, we're going to be talking about a few, but let's go back to kind of past history. You've been representing about, a few hundred people in the military who either lost their job or lost their assignment or lost their retirement benefits and all that kind of thing because they refused to take the jab during the COVID situation. And we know that you had tons and tons of paper and were ready for, the whole 9 yards. Where is that at now with these people? Because I know you appealed the justice. Wasn't it the court case that the court said everything was moot or whatever it is,
Moot.
and moot. That's it, moot.
Their favorite
Yeah.
word.
Yeah. So the the Attorney General brought a motion to dismiss back last fall. That the justice in November said that she had dismissed it. She said there was no claim there, and that they should have used the grievance system, which is their favorite fall to thing. We have lots of reasons why that doesn't apply. Like, for instance, if you're no longer serving, you can't use the grievance system. The other is that the grievance system can take years. The record is 19 and a half years waiting for a decision on a grievance, if you can believe it. And the final decision maker on military grievances is the Chief of Defense Staff. And the order we're questioning is the Chief of Defense Staff's mandate. So they get to decide on their own order. Whether, and as you can imagine, we've got a couple of those grievances back already, and they said, no, I didn't do anything wrong. So we've had one go to judicial review and got a decision on it, and the decision was it's moot, that the mandate that he grieved is over, and therefore there's nothing to talk about. And yet there is still a mandate regarding mRNA COVID vaccine in the military today.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Hmm.
So if they can't throw it out by saying you should have used the grievance system, they're now trying to say mootness, which means it's irrelevant because the situation that you're going to the court for is over. Um,
Okay.
I have a big problem with mootness
Well,
on these big issues.
me too. And how come is it? Why does it only work one way? How come it's always the court that gets to do it, but like you can't come back and go, oh, I want my jog back that you wouldn't allow me to have because I didn't have a vaccine card, so that's moot now. So let's move on. Like, how come it never
Yeah,
works the other way?
exactly, exactly. Because some of the clients that I have tried to get back in to serve, and they're hitting roadblock after roadblock to get back in, even
Hmm.
though there's a recruiting crisis and they need more people and welcome, you can come back now. No, no, that's not what's happening. So we have appealed and we're waiting for all the paperwork is in. We're just waiting for a date for the hearing, which should be this fall, I hope. And we'll see what happens with that one. The vaccine injury one, I'm waiting for a final decision from the Veterans Affairs appeal board. They're at that appeal board. They have to do that process before I can bring it into the court. We should be getting pretty close to a decision on that one. I know it will be negative because I've got the emails between CAF and VAC saying we're not going to cover vaccine injury for this vaccine.
Good
So
grief.
I already know it's coming. So there's that one. And then I can't tell you how many clients I now have on various abusive things that have happened, whether it's through the military, police, or investigation service for things that crimes they didn't commit. Some weren't even charged and were absolutely destroyed professionally and their families and big, big bunch of stuff there. And as well as treatment of people in their service. So the lawsuits aren't going away, and the Canadian Armed Forces has now developed sort of a litigation division and dealing with the access to information requests overwhelm. So we've had some impact
Yeah.
over the past almost 5 years.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
I got to be honest. I thought of you the other day because I heard this news story that was all about Mark Carney, in talks, we're going to spend money and help the Ukraine, military get strong, strengthen the Ukrainian military. I'm thinking, I chuckled because it's like, are you kidding me? We can't even get the Canadian military strengthened. How are we supposed to help someone else? And why are we helping someone
Exactly.
else when we can't even help our own?
Yeah. Oh,
And
I'm amused about the talk about increasing the budget and all the rest, but what they're using to say that they're getting to 2% or 5%, depending on the day, is things like a wage increase for people that are already serving, or they lump Veterans Affairs money and payments into that defense budget. So it's not actually affecting troops on the ground. They're not getting the equipment, they're not getting the training. They'll go for live fire exercises and then be told they don't have any bullets. And this has been happening since the 90s. I have lots of veterans tell me the story of where they would be in field training and when they went to fire, they'd have to literally do pew pew
Good
instead of firing
grief.
an actual bullet because they didn't have any bullets to train with. So
Sounds like German. I understand that the German soldiers were using broom handles because they didn't have any guns. So to do
mhm.
the exercise, they were trying to train with doing broom handles. It's ridiculous. Absolutely
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Mhm.
If you go woke, you go broke, and that's exactly what's been happening.
Well, and I don't know if the general public's been paying any attention, but the people at the top, we have more and more women generals. The men are being pushed out of the top positions in Ottawa
hmm.
for the Canadian Armed Forces. So, I firmly believe that's going to have a big impact because I don't think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, at least
Uh-huh.
they're being consistent with their DEI
Mhm.
woke agenda. Yeah. Well, the reason why
Yeah.
we had you on today, not only to just get an update, is because you
Mm.
got a new client, someone we know, and who's been making the news and some interesting stuff. Alan, why don't you go ahead and you
Well,
talk
I
about
think
it?
that our viewers are most concerned in the things that they read about that the premier of the province of Alberta was going to make ivermectin illegal to use in Alberta, and
Mhm.
so that's what people want to know more than anything.
Yeah, because you're representing Dr. Makis now, who we've had
I
on the
am.
show multiple times, which I'm glad when I first heard that you guys teamed up. I was super excited. I mean, our two faves, right, Alan? Teaming up together. It's the A team. And but yeah, he's been saying some things, and we wanted to just hear from you.
Yeah, so I've been his lawyer for 2 weeks today. Exactly. But I was aware of him in the background and what he was doing, and had heard him speak at NCI and etc. So why did he hire me? Well, the College of Physicians and Surgeons came at him for an injunction uh, that would prevent him from using his titles of doctor and MD. And then they also wanted to shut down any work he was doing with cancer patients, basically. So we scrambled fast. I did ask for an adjournment to get completely up to speed on the file, and the justice denied that. So when we get down to where we're appealing, that's one of the things we're appealing because you actually are entitled to have hire a lawyer and have that lawyer have time to get the full file and offer your full argument and evidence to the court, which you can imagine. I was hired 8 days before the hearing, and it was a big scramble. Um, his fan club who were in the courtroom. We did the court of public opinion thing. The college was very aware, and the justice was very aware that that room was full of eyes and ears, and people were tracking what was going on, which I think is very important for these bigger issues. And so then we went. So we proceeded with the injunction. The college actually wanted to get a permanent injunction in a 10-minute hearing without proper evidence before the court. I managed to successfully say, no, 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 no. That needs a much bigger hearing um, if we're going to argue it at all. Justice in the end did grant the injunction. So he is forbidden from using the title of doctor or MD, even though the Health Professions Act allows him to use that for research, writing, etc. They have banned him from using those titles. The other important thing for people, and this is how he has interpreted this part of the injunction, and I will read it to you. He is banned from offering or providing any health services to the public, including but not limited to offering or providing advice or consultations regarding cancer treatment. So he has been banned from what the court determined was medical advice on ivermectin and the other medication, off-label medications that he uses as a protocol. This was based on there might be a risk to the public. The college had zero evidence of anyone being harmed by what he was doing. They couldn't tell the court what happened during one of his consultations. They just, and the justice decided to believe them that whatever happens in those consultations is he's acting as a doctor. Even though all his patients still have a family doctor, some have oncologists, he's not diagnosing them with cancer. They come to him with the diagnosis already. He's not ordering radiation or chemotherapy. He's not writing prescriptions. He's doing none of the medical doctor stuff. But the court just was refusing to hear it. Um, and it was basically, I walked out of that courtroom with, wow, we learned nothing from the COVID era, because it was, he's going to kill grandma, clutch my pearls, and stop. We must stop him from interfacing with the public. Um, so I was, honestly, I was not impressed at all with what happened in that courtroom, and we are preparing an appeal. Um,
We ha-
interesting, yeah, interesting. A
Go
couple of years
ahead.
ago, they declared him what's called a vexatious litigant, which basically, and I don't even understand this, because I've seen vexatious litigants in my practice, and I don't, he doesn't have, he can be caustic, he can rub you the wrong way, but he doesn't strike me as vexatious litigant. But anyway, declared, so we have to ask permission from the court in order to appeal this. So that's the first step, and we're now in the process of doing that application. So
We have viewers on our program that I have talked to. There are also some of our faithful supporters across Canada who were getting the conventional treatment of the cancer that they were having, and then got a hold of Dr. Makis and started to go under his treatment. And this one lady particularly shared with me that when her doctor found out that she was now under the treatment of Dr. Makis, her cancer doctor just dropped her like a hot potato and left her. And that was fine with her, because what's happening, her testimony is that it's working and she's feeling better than she's ever has before. And you couldn't say anything bad about Dr. Makis because of what he was doing with ivermectin and some of the other prototypes that he was using. So, I mean, the court can say whatever they want to say, I guess, and do whatever they want to do. The proof is in the pudding. And when you have people who are dying from cancer, which is a terminal disease, they want to live.
mhm.
And you can't, even the traditional ways of trying to defeat cancer in the body, doesn't work. There are people that have gone through all the treatments that are quote unquote improved and still died of cancer.
Mhm.
So there is no, order to say this works and this doesn't work.
Well,
Ivermectin has worked with several patients, and people, will swear that their life has been changed because of it.
well, there's over 300 peer-reviewed studies, including one that just came out from Stanford University in the United States, which shows that particular protocol using ivermectin and the other medications actually is working. That it is, and they're peer-reviewed studies by legitimate universities and other researchers. So it's not a case of he's making up some potion that he's giving people. He doesn't sell the products himself. He doesn't have any devices that he sells, or so the court just wasn't going to hear it. And I was a registered nurse for 22 years, so I have that kind of medical knowledge background. And the conventional cancer treatments are brutal. They're absolutely brutal. You're poisoning the patient, hoping it kills the cancer before it kills the patient. And so when he came to me with this injunction, the reason that I took him on as a patient was because I believe that people have a right to try. They have a right to try whatever they want to try in order to deal with cancer. My
Mm.
mom was diagnosed with brain cancer in 2020, and she wanted to try everything that she could find to possibly survive it. She had no intention of dying of cancer, and had this been available, I know she would have taken advantage of it. And so uh, it makes me angry that people are being denied that because the college has an agenda. I mean, keep in mind that William Makis was never found when they did an investigation way back in 2018, the investigator said there's no misconduct here. There's nothing happened. His license was suspended because he refused to pay a bunch of hearing costs based on no evidence. So it wasn't a case of we've got a doctor that was dangerous, like actually proven to be dangerous to people or that kind of like. And the allegations that they wanted to do was another female doctor didn't like the way he talked to her. Um, if they want a list of how abrasive doctors, I've got one from 22 years of nursing. I can give them a list of abrasive personalities in the medical field. But so it wasn't a case of, they're trying to shut down somebody that has this terrible thing going on for years. And in this case, it very much was very apparent that, and they even used the word misinformation. The public was at risk from misinformation. And how is it misinformation when it's actually following the science? There's peer-reviewed studies, that doesn't even hold up for misinformation. And all it is information. What people do with it is up to them. And I will defend to my dying breath the people's right to have information and then do with it what they will.
Yeah, Catherine, that's my question. Why can't people have a choice? I mean, he's a cancer coach, is what he's calling himself now. Obviously he is a doctor. He's got all the degrees and whatever. He's not in the healthcare system, so it doesn't cost, the government anything, for him to be able to coach people. It just seems, a lot of hassle. Like they're really being unfair and they're harassing them. And why don't we get a choice? Why can't they just go, hey man, you're coaching people that are going through something. You're not, everything you said, he's not selling the drugs or writing prescriptions or doing anything like that. Why can't they just let this go?
He doesn't have a radiation machine in his garage.
No.
And I know that he's got a lot of followers, he's got a big following, and what they really need to focus on, in my opinion, and I've certainly shared this with him, is we need to push that we have the right to try any treatment and we have the right to have informed consent. And if I'm informed about what it is and I choose to take it, then I should be allowed to do that.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Section 7 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms says I have the right, I have bodily autonomy. So, and it's not the court kept saying, well, the public's at risk. The public is not at risk because he is looking after and giving information to just a very small group of people, usually stage 4 terminal cancer patients. Those are the people that reach out to him. Some people in earlier stages are now, but that's the group. So how is the general public so at risk that we need to shut down everything that he's doing?
Well, I think the general public's at risk of hearing the truth and finding another way of how cancer can be cured beside the old medical system way. I think that's probably what that they're afraid of. Go ahead.
God forbid we should be back at least, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, money's the problem. Money. But Sean Buckley has told that Health Canada has nothing to do with their health.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, really, his advice is Makis's advice is no different than me going to a coach to improve my general health. How to lose weight or deal with going to a physiotherapist to deal with joint pain. It's no different than that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, what's interesting is I don't know if the college understands who they're fighting against now. They're fighting against Catherine Christensen, who takes on the military people. She's up against generals in the military. And now you're taking on this case. We're so excited that you're there. We're definitely going to have you back. And we want updates because I think just recently he said on a video that he can't help Albertans. Is that correct?
We've now I've been working with him to rebrand and change things so that it's following the order, but it's not going to reduce what he's able to do for
Oh,
people. So
good.
we can now do it. We looked into it because what we wanted to know, and my team and I spent the weekend researching, is that if he is not giving or does not have any clients in Alberta and is posting his information on international websites from other countries, is that going to breach the order? And it turns out it would. Our Supreme Court of Canada has said that as long as he has ties to Alberta, then the order applies to him. So if he were to move to the US and not own any property here or have any bank accounts here, etc., then the order it doesn't apply. He can do whatever he likes online.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I was very surprised because I thought the Canadian order was, like it's an Alberta order. If I get an order in Alberta, if I want to enforce it in another province, I have to get that province to accept it. But yeah, no. Google apparently took it all the way to the Supreme Court to get a ruling on that.
Wow.
But the other thing is if they wanted to go after him, if he was in the US and the college decided that they wanted to go after him, they'd have to convince an American judge in the jurisdiction he's in to accept that his free speech should be impeded. And I don't think they'd have a lot of luck.
Well, there you go. Well, Catherine, we appreciate you, and thank you for all that you're doing for our military brothers and sisters, and also for Dr. Makis. We'll definitely have you back.
Sounds good. Great to be on.
Well, great to have Catherine on. Man, I miss her. She's so great. She's fire, right, Alan? I mean, just
good for Dr. Makis that he has her on his side. So we'll see some good things happen.
Yeah, that's the A-team there. That'll be fun to watch. You want to help support our mission, keep this conversation and truth on the air? We are viewer supported. We don't take government funds, special interest groups, nothing like that. It's only because of the generosity of the people that watch this show and appreciate the truth. And so you can go to our website, gotalktruth.com, click on donate. Many different ways to give digitally that way. You can go, you can do it through the mail too if you want. You can make the gift payable to Heritage Christian Ministries Association and send it to 246 Stewart Green Southwest, Suite 3260, Calgary, Alberta, T3H 3C8. And if you'd like prayer, you can call our toll-free line, 1-800-915-0056 in Canada. All right, Dad, we're out of time. We'll see you guys later.
Love you.